Good morning. Today is the 22nd of March 2024 and I'm going to go through my trading plan for today. Before we start, let's look at the news, what could be moving the market. We haven't got anything today of significance, however we do have the Fed speaking at midday, and then 4 p.m. when the market closes anyway, and a bit of oil news. So 12 p.m. is the time to watch out for any market movement. Levels are pretty much the same as yesterday. I don't really like a great deal, to be honest. The only place I'm watching for is a bounce 52.60 to 52.50. That's the area I'm looking for, a bounce coming off of that pivot and that pivot. So these are the two areas I'm really watching for, kind of down to there. I'll consider 52.50 as well if we poke through that area. I also, it's higher risk, but we're kind of coming in. Yesterday's low, we broke and retested it. This area here, 5300 as well, it's a psychological number. So potentially it's a magnetic resistance or magnetic support if we break through. So maybe if we get up to 5300, I think we just touched it a few seconds ago, we could look for a potential reject. But that's very high risk and probably not what I'm going to play unless I see something setting up on the order flow. And then the next area to watch will be the pre-market high. We've got two plays that play, 53.10. We can look for a break and retest long to then test all-time highs from yesterday, or we can look for a rejection around that area. And that is all there is today, all I can see. So to sum up, watching for a bounce down at this area, 52.50 to 52.60. That's basically looking at these two pivots and area of demand. If you recall, until yesterday, day before yesterday, it was our supply area, but now we've broken through. You know, what was the ceiling is hopefully now going to become the floor. Pre-market high, we can watch this level for two plays, a break and retest long, 53.10, or a rejection. And then we've got a very high risk play right now at 5300, and that's for rejection, and that's obviously coming off of the pre-market area that consolidated, so it potentially is a okayish trade. And I can see it's just rejected it on the 5 minute. That's it. SPY next. All I can see on SPY, similar levels to ES. Excuse me, but I think these are stronger levels for a bounce, and this is double top here, and that is at 518.20. So looking for a bounce down in this region, and then we can watch the pre-market high for a break and retest. And the next psychological or magnetic number, magnetic resistance, is this 525 number. So we can look up to there for a potential target if we're long, or a rejection area. That's all I can see on SPY. Let's look at NQ. Okay, so the same, these are the levels, which I'm not really changing anything since yesterday. Interesting, we had that level in place, and look, we kind of bounced it pre-market low. Just shows the levels do work, and that's a level going back to the 13th, almost 2 weeks ago. The only level I'm really interested in is if we can pull right back down to around this region here. So I'm looking 18,365 through to 18,300, 330 basically for a bounce. And as for rejection, we can keep an eye on yesterday's low area for rejection down, or we can watch pre-market high for rejection down. But if we get back up to this area, 18,600, then we can look for a potential break and retest long to retest the new all-time high from yesterday. QQQs, same as Nasdaq. We can watch yesterday's low for a potential rejection, high risk, or we can look for a break and retest above the pre-market high. So pre-market high is 447. And then yesterday's low is 445 area, 446, look for a rejection. Otherwise, the only area I'm really keen on, same as QQQ, Nasdaq, is a bounce off of this area, 440, 40 to 440. So this area here for a bounce. SPX, I should really look at SPX after we've done ES and SPY, but because they're kind of related. So 5200, same as yesterday, I'm watching for a bounce. So if we can pull all the way back down to that area, I'll be flicking over to the ES chart to see whether I can find an entry long. Otherwise, we've got this area of, which was support, which is now demand, area of, which was resistance, or it was supply originally, now it's our demand or our support area. So 5180, 5185 for a bounce in that area. And we've got this rising, this red line, this rising 50 moving average. And we've got yesterday's low as well, so we can look for a bounce around this area. Going to gold next. Gold broke out pretty spectacularly a couple of days ago. Was that Wednesday? It's come back in, it's retesting this area. This is a break and retest play right now. Break. I'll just draw a line in. You can see we've got this kind of area here. We've broken through that structure now, through the trend line, and then we can watch for a, I think, a break and retest above pre-market high with a target of yesterday's high, and then we've got these highs up here, 22. So the only thing I can see is break and retest of 2177, 2178 long, and then we've got a bounce area of 2150 down here. Next is crude oil. Again, we broke out over this area. We come back, we've retested it now. Look at that for a beautiful retest. I think a break and retest of pre-market high, or if we pull back down, find a trend entry, we put in a low, then a higher low, then we could look for another higher low. We are potentially also putting in this left shoulder, head, you could call that the head, come back up here, maybe a right shoulder pattern for break and retest long or something. Yeah, a bounce, stick to the bounce down at 80, break and retest of 81.50, this area here long. We've got a target then of $82. The E-mini Russell 2000 or RTY. Look at that for a beautiful break off this trend line. Wasn't really any place we can come back to retest. That's FOMC pushing it up. So probably would have been difficult to catch that, but the signs were there. Didn't put in a new low, kind of like a neck, head and shoulders. And so the only place I can see right now is if we pull back into this area here. I'm going to draw it using an arrow. This area here for a bounce, which is 2103 to 2100. I quite like that area for a bounce. So we come back down to here, we can look for the bounce, and that's using area of confidence. You can see tops of candles. So tops of candles, bottoms of candles, tops, tops, kind of bottoms there, bottoms, bottoms, tops. Quite a significant area, tops, tops. And then tops of these and bottoms of these candles, I meant bottoms of this candle will yet to come back down. So that's a significant, and look at this red line. So we've got this point of control which goes, this kind of point of control all shows for this area here. So 2100 for a bounce through to 2105. This area I'm watching for a bounce. Let's just draw that in. So 2104.20 is the area I've got, but that's a rough area, but watch that entire area. That's the only play for that one. YM, which is the Dow Jones. All I can see is a bounce down here. I think if I had to pick an area, I prefer 39,667. This area here, if we can come all the way down here for a bounce. oh, lost my arrow. I think this area here. The reason I prefer that is because we've got a couple of touches here, a touch there, a touch there, almost a touch there. So there's more areas where we could potentially bounce, when here we only got one touch of a pivot, but it was a big area of supply. We had a big reaction down, we touched it, so we can watch that area as well. 39,765 to 39,677. And as for higher risk, no, there's no volume up here. I think it needs a pullback. I wouldn't even take a day trade on it. It's got to come all the way down to get back into this area where there's volume, where we can see bounces. And you see the volume starting to come out. So this is where most of the volume starts, around here. Zoom out a bit more, see if we get any more volume. No. All-time highs. Super, super extended. And you know, maybe today could be the day we see it kind of crash back down a bit. And you know, like always, it takes the staircase up and the window down, so it may just happen quickly. Yeah, nothing I like really. Maybe the break and retest a pre-market high, but going long when we're so extended makes it really difficult and hard to find a long on any of these stocks we've looked at. Okay, Bitcoin. It's doing what it does, kind of put in this green engulfing candle, and with a couple of days it's kind of taking it back out again. So no, again, like the others, are super extended. We've got loads of volume coming in here, loads of volume. That's why these red lines are areas I took profits on my Bitcoin. Now I've still got a bit left in case we see the run up, but I took half off at this point, half off at that point, and I took half off at that point. And looks like that decision was a good decision. And what I've taken off, I'm going to add back in when we get back down to 40,000. I'll consider 50,000 as well. And I only took profit not because of it being extended, because of the volume. The volume was so extended. Sorry, the volume was stood out. Last time we saw volume like that, we can go back to when we saw a change of direction down here. Look at that, we hit the bottom, now we're at the top. So, and then we had volume at the tops here as well. So that's the reason I took. That's the reason I took volume. That's the reason I took some off. Only because I like to think history repeats itself. Right, that's it really. Going back to ES, we're right back at the 5300 magnetic resistance area. So potentially this is a higher risk rejection right now, and it's coming off the bottoms of these candles. So that's coming from yesterday's market. Was that the low? Yeah, yesterday's low. And obviously we broke down, pulled back, and we're retesting that area. We are below all the major averages as well, apart from the 50, the 20, the A and the VWAP on the hourly. So just something to bear in mind as well. And I can't see anything on order flow just yet setting up for a rejection, so it's not for me. But I'll keep an eye on it. That's it. I'll just quickly recap the levels again. So I'm really waiting for a bounce in this area, 52.50, 52.50 to 52.60 area. So that's what I really want to see it come back down and find a long entry. Or, I don't like going long when we're so extended, but a break and retest above pre-market high. And then we've got yesterday's high, which is the all-time high as a target. And I think that's the only two plays really. And you've got this high risk rejection right now. You know, yesterday's low. And that's it. Oh, one other thing we can add in, if we do break down below pre-market low, so break and we come back up and retest, we'll be below the 50 moving average then. And so potentially we can look for a short, maybe to fill this gap down. Okay, that's it for today. After this we'll have my order flow live stream as well, and that will show you something that looks a little bit like this. Well, not a little, exactly like this. Gives you a bit of x-ray into the market, into each candle. And what I pay attention to is the divergence at the bottom. This is cumulative delta divergence, and this is a 2-minute chart. And I watch the order flow above, and this is how I try and pick my rejection and my rejections, and my bounces, basically looking for high volume in these areas where we see absorption. I'm looking for divergence down here, so the price is coming down and divergence is going up, then potentially we can see a bounce area. And I'm also looking for lack of sellers in these bottoms of these candles, bottom left corners. This is the ask and that's the bid. So when I don't see any more sellers down here, then I know that there's a bit of weakness in the market. So potentially looking for longs. I'm looking for strong buyers like this one here. You can see not many buyers down here, but we had quite a bit of volume coming up here. Okay, that's it. Trade safe and have a good day.